Ever had that strange, "I've been here before" feeling out of the blue? It's called déjà vu, literally already seen in French. It's a fleeting sense of familiarity with something you know should be new. In other words, your brain is tricking you. Something happening now feels like it happened before. The good news? Almost everyone experiences it. Studies estimate that roughly 60 to 80% of people report déjà vu at least once, and one doctor even says it could be as high as 97%. It's most common in teens and young adults and usually fades as we get older. So if you ever catch yourself chuckling, "Whoa, I've seen this before, don't worry, you're far from alone." Déjà vu is basically your brain's version of a glitchy moment. Imagine you walk into a room for the first time, but it feels like you've been there before, exactly like this situation happened already. You might even think, did that just happen? It's a mix of familiarity and surprise. Your mind knows you haven't lived this exact moment, yet it also insists something is familiar. Scientists describe it as a memory illusion. Your brain is incorrectly tagging the new experience as an old one. A helpful way to think about it is like your brain double-checking itself. According to Dr. Akira O'Connor, a memory expert, déjà vu is essentially a conflict between feeling familiar and knowing it's not supposed to be. He compares it to your brain's fact-checker alarm going off. First, part of your brain says this feels familiar, then another part chimes in, "Wait, I know this is actually new." And that mismatch is what you perceive as déjà vu. In short, it's your brain saying, this is odd, which makes the moment extra memorable. Researchers have come up with several ideas about why déjà vu happens. The most popular idea is that your current experience closely resembles something you've seen or done before, but you can't consciously recall the original event. Your brain spots the similarity and triggers that feeling of familiarity. For example, maybe this street corner looks a lot like your old neighborhood, or the movie plot reminds you of something you saw as a kid. You don't consciously remember the old memory, but your brain does, so it flashes the "I know this" signal even though you can't place it. Sometimes déjà vu might be as simple as seeing the same thing twice in a tiny gap. Imagine you catch a quick glimpse of someone walking by in the corner of your eye. Your brain starts recording that, even without full awareness. Then you look again a moment later and see the person fully. Your brain thinks, "Hey, I've seen this before," because technically it has, just a split second ago. In other words, a brief second look can feel like two separate events, a familiar one and a present one, causing that eerie feeling. Another idea is a tiny glitch in your brain's wiring. Your brain has circuits that handle right-now events and circuits that handle memories. If there's a slight overlap or short circuit, the present might mistakenly trigger the memory signal. It's a lot like a mini seizure, don't worry, very mild and brief, that makes the part of your brain for recalling memories think, "Whoa, we've been here before," even though you haven't. This theory comes from observing that people with temporal lobe epilepsy often experience intense, constant déjà vu. Their seizures essentially set off this false familiarity repeatedly. Here's a fun one. Think of your senses as taking two different routes to the brain. For most events, they arrive together and you perceive one smooth experience. But if one path is even a tiny bit slower, your brain might get the information twice. First a microsecond early, then again on time. Those two flashes of the same scene, milliseconds apart, could make your mind read it as two separate but identical experiences. In that instant, your brain thinks, "This must have happened before," even though it was just a delayed double take. Remember that conflict idea? Well, think of it as one more theory. Your frontal cortex, the brain's checker, might be involved in catching mistakes. Some scientists think that when those familiarity signals fire, your brain's fact checker kicks in and says, "Hold on, do I really remember this?" If the answer is no, you get the mental jolt of déjà vu. It's like your brain is running a quick reality check, the feeling gets triggered, then immediately corrected. The awareness of that contradiction makes it feel so weird. All these explanations share the common theme. Déjà vu is about memory and familiarity going a little haywire, not about time travel or spooky powers. And guess what? Science has even recreated it in labs. For example, researchers hypnotize people to remember playing a game or seeing a word in a certain color, then later showed it to them normally. Those people suddenly felt déjà vu about the game or word, proving a created memory can trigger the sensation. Others used virtual reality. They made two virtual environments with the same layout, like one garden and one junkyard with swapped details. When people walked through them, many reported déjà vu because the familiar layout, though disguised, tricked their brains. Meanwhile, brain scans give clues too. In one fMRI study, scientists scanned people having artificial déjà vu. Surprisingly, the usual memory centers, like the hippocampus, didn't light up as you'd expect. Instead, the active regions were in decision-making and checking circuits. This suggests déjà vu might not be your memory suddenly popping up. It might be your brain looking for a memory and not finding it. In other words, your brain is busy sorting through memories and thinking, wait a second, did I actually do this before? To break it down, parts of your brain that deal with memory, especially the temporal lobes and hippocampus, and parts that deal with familiarity, like the rhinal cortex, have to communicate correctly. When that communication falters for a split second, it creates the illusion of an old memory. As the Cleveland Clinic puts it, déjà vu is caused by dysfunctional connections between the parts of your brain that play a role in memory recollection and familiarity. Think of it like crossed wires. The familiarity signal goes through, but the actual memory doesn't. So you get the warm feeling of knowing something without any real memory to match. Most of the time, occasional déjà vu is harmless. Actually, it's a sign your memory system is pretty healthy and active. In fact, Dr. O'Connor says déjà vu is a good thing. It shows your brain's fact checker is working. It's normal to get a bit more déjà vu when you're tired or stressed because then your brain's timing is a little off. Some people even notice caffeine, nicotine, or other stimulants, which boost dopamine, can bring on those fuzzy loops more often. On the flip side, if someone had constant déjà vu, like every moment feels strangely familiar, that would be concerning. In extreme cases, called déjà vécu, people actually feel they've already lived their present life. This usually happens only with serious neurological conditions like epilepsy or after certain medications. It's very rare and not what most of us have to worry about. So, what's the bottom line? Déjà vu isn't a superpower or time travel. It's a quirk of the brain's memory system. It's your brain getting a tiny bit mixed up, flags a situation as known, then quickly realizes, oh hey, this is new, and you get that wait what? Feeling. Next time you experience déjà vu, remember, it just means your brain is doing an extra check on your memories. Pretty cool, right? After all, each glitch is a peek into how our minds sort through trillions of memories every day. Stay curious and maybe get some rest.